That's why I'm going back. I'm just going to have to make up one from a tin lid, I reckon. One that will fit my wide angle lens, I suppose. If I drop this camera now, I could get a scratch, but well, that's the risk I've got to take. Oh, the efforts I make for you. Oh, well, at least we're on the way down now from the promised land. It's still very beautiful, look at that. Don't know what's on that hillside over there, I've never been there. Might be worth taking a look, maybe next year, next season, during next year's wet. Because that's when the surface of the soil stays damp, that's when the understory of bulbous, cormous and tuberous plants actually grow. Whichever side you are of the line that crosses roughly from just above Perth all the way up to lower Queensland. I don't remember if I've actually told you about the winds. There's a crosswinds that adds on an extra 2 hours of flight time depending on whether you're going from Perth to Brisbane or Brisbane to Perth, due to the winds that swell off the Antarctic. So yeah, so always keep that in mind when you're questioning the air flight prices. If they seem excessively expensive one way than they do the other, it's because you're travelling for an extra 2 hours. So because it's a big country, most people don't know you can get about 5 or 6 Spains into just Western Australia. That's the whole of Spain and Portugal 5 or 6 times just in one of our states, our biggest state of Western Australia. I mean, it really is a big continent. If it wasn't for our so-called dead heart, it would be really, you know, you'd be reading about it a lot more in all the record books, you see. But because we have this so-called dead heart, we don't have the figures that would actually get us into the record books outright sort of thing. So, but we do have a lot of CPs here. We only need one more genus, one more genera, and we'd be top ranking, I suppose. We've got the smallest sundew, we've got the tallest, we've got the most robust sundew, and yeah, all we need is one more genus and we top all the tables, I reckon. But yeah, so get out there looking for Hellier and for and Pinguicula. Well, you might have a chance of finding Pinguicula in Australia, you never know. It's pretty unlikely, but you know, I was thinking, what else could you? I mean, we were joined on to South Africa, so you probably got more chance of finding a Ruricula related genus or something like that. But probably Bibulus has filled that spot, you know. So really, but you know, you never know. I remember Phil Mann showed me a grass type species that looked like it was a halfway house to being a Bibulus deniflora sort of thing. That was back in the 70s when I was I was 9 years old then. And it was on my second visit to his place. He showed me the thing. I've never seen it since, but it was very cute. It was like a grass that had all the stickiness. Well, they weren't sticky, they had droplets. It was all droplets. It looked sticky, but it wasn't. When you touched them, it was like watery. So yeah, it was halfway house. So it was a halfway to being a Bibulus deniflora or something like that. But you could definitely tell it was some sort of grassy species. But I don't think he told me what it was. I don't think he actually knew what it was at the time. He was going to, you know, look into it. But I've never seen it since. So you know, and I think I've taken a wrong turn here. I nearly would get more down there, otherwise I'm going to be spending time bashing my way through bush. But oh, there we go, nice down through there. See, these are the fronds. Different groupings have different shaped fronds. The WA ones that have like the squarish ones, they're deadly because they cut you. They easily cut you. Just have to, because of the shape and the number of size to it, you're always going to get cut no matter which way you come into them, and they're quite sharp. So you always avoid them in where I was growing up. But here, you can just rub up against them and you don't get harmed too much. You hardly ever get cut by them. WA, it's almost every time if you brush up against one, you'll get some sort of cut that you'll definitely notice in the bath that night. But anyway, Coming down now, I think I'm on the right path now. Moving in the right direction. Anyway, time to turn the camera off, because I think you've seen all this before. It must be boring to you now, I think. Unless you're into bark. There's a good bit of bark there. Almost getting almost stringy bark there. Oh.